Admiral James Weber stood at the observation deck of Luna Base 1, his weathered hands clasped tightly behind his back. Through the reinforced windows, he watched as the first wave of alien ships entered Earth's atmosphere. They looked like falling stars at first. Beautiful, if you didn't know what they really were. "Sir," Lieutenant Mary Peters' voice cracked as she delivered the report. "Multiple objects entering atmosphere. Size and velocity consistent with kinetic bombardment weapons." Weber's jaw tightened. He had feared this day would come, ever since humans first detected the alien signals 3 years ago. The Galactic Council, as they called themselves, had been watching Earth for decades. Now they had decided to act. "Get me Fleet Command," he ordered, his voice steady despite the chaos unfolding before him. On the screens around him, red dots appeared over major cities worldwide. New York, London, Beijing, Mumbai. Each dot represented a potential impact site. "Fleet Command responding, sir," Mary announced, her fingers flying over the holographic controls. They're reporting all orbital defenses are ineffective. The alien ships have some kind of shield technology we can't penetrate. The first impact hit somewhere in the Pacific Ocean. Even from the moon, they could see the massive splash that rose into the stratosphere. Tsunami warnings immediately blared across all channels. The second strike hit the outskirts of Moscow. The third somewhere in the Sahara. "Play the alien transmission again," Weber commanded, his eyes never leaving Earth's beautiful blue sphere, now marred by expanding clouds of debris. A holographic screen flickered to life, showing the alien message that had preceded the attack. The creature speaking looked almost like a tall, gray mantis. Its voice had been translated by their best AI systems. "People of Earth, the Galactic Council has deemed your species too dangerous to join galactic civilization. Your rapid technological advancement, combined with your species' aggressive nature and tribal divisions, presents an unacceptable risk to galactic peace. This preventive action is necessary for the greater good. Surrender now, and some of your population will be preserved in designated preservation zones." Weber watched as more impacts lit up the Earth's surface, but something wasn't right. The aliens were hitting mostly uninhabited areas or the outskirts of cities, almost like they were showing restraint. "Sir," Mary's voice carried a note of surprise. "Underground Defense Network reports all deep bunkers are secure. And, sir, Project Phoenix is reporting ready status." A thin smile crossed Weber's face. The aliens had made 3 crucial mistakes. First, they assumed their surveillance had caught everything. They hadn't discovered the massive underground cities and military installations humanity had been building since the Cold War. Second, they thought their technology was far superior to Earth's. They didn't know about the crashed scout ship humans had recovered decades ago, or how much reverse-engineered technology had been integrated into Earth's defenses. But their third mistake was the biggest. They expected humans to surrender. "Send the coded signal to all Phoenix sites," Weber ordered. "Authorization code. Remember the Alamo." Mary's fingers danced across her console. "Signal sent, sir. All sites acknowledging." Deep beneath the Earth's surface, in hardened bunkers and hidden mountain bases, humanity's real defense forces waited. While the aliens watched Earth's obvious military bases and missile silos, they had missed the true preparations for this day. "How long until the Council's main fleet arrives?" Weber asked, already knowing the answer. "About 3 days, sir. They're expecting to find a beaten and cowering population ready to surrender." Weber nodded slowly. 3 days. Good. That gives us time to evacuate more civilians to the bunkers and activate all our hidden defenses. He turned to face his staff for the first time since the bombardment began. "The Council thinks they're dealing with a primitive, divided species that will break at the first show of force. Instead, they've just given humanity something we've never had before." "Sir." Mary looked up from her station. "A common enemy," Weber said grimly. "For the first time in human history, all our nations, all our people will fight as one. And God help any alien species that thinks they can simply come here and wipe us out. As if to emphasize his words, another impact lit up Earth's surface. But beneath the explosions and destruction, humanity was not cowering. They were preparing. The Galactic Council was about to learn a harsh lesson about underestimating humans. The real war hadn't even begun. 3 months after the alien attack, Director Emily Stone walked through the underground halls of Facility Zero, hidden 2 miles beneath the Rocky Mountains. The constant hum of machinery echoed through the corridors as thousands of workers and scientists rushed about their tasks. On the surface, the aliens believed they had crippled humanity. They were wrong. "Status report," Emily demanded as she entered the main control room. The massive chamber was filled with holographic displays showing real-time data from around the world. Tom Reed, her chief engineer, pulled up a detailed projection. "The aliens still think their bombardment destroyed most of our military capability. Their patrols are getting lazy. They're not even scanning the deep underground anymore." Emily nodded, studying the data. The aliens had no idea that humanity had detected their approach years ago, thanks to the advanced warning system they'd built after recovering that crashed scout ship in 1947. What the public had called UFO sightings had actually been careful testing of reverse-engineered alien technology. "Show me the production numbers," she ordered. New holograms sprang to life, displaying statistics from the 100 other underground facilities like this one. The aliens thought they were monitoring primitive human factories on the surface. They had no clue about the advanced manufacturing centers hidden deep underground, all connected by a network of high-speed tunnels. "We've finished adapting their shield technology," Tom reported proudly. "The captured scout ship systems helped us crack it. Our new fighters can withstand their energy weapons now, and the gravity drive production is ahead of schedule." Emily allowed herself a small smile. The aliens had assumed humans would only have basic rocket technology. They didn't know that Earth scientists had been studying anti-gravity propulsion for decades. "What about Project Thunder?" she asked, referring to their secret weapon. Tom's eyes lit up. "That's the best part. Remember how their ships use artificial gravity? Well, we found a way to turn it against them. Our Thunder weapons can create localized gravity pulses that will tear their ships apart from the inside." A young technician rushed into the room, holding a tablet. "Director, we just intercepted a council transmission. Their main fleet is splitting up to handle some kind of rebellion in another sector. Half their ships are leaving Earth orbit." This was the moment they had been waiting for. Emily pressed a button on the central console, connecting her to all underground bases worldwide. Her voice would reach every resistance fighter, scientist, and soldier who had been preparing for this day. "Attention all personnel," she began, her voice firm and clear. "For 3 months, we've hidden in the dark, letting the enemy think they had won. They expected us to break, to surrender, to accept their rule. Instead, we've been building, planning, and preparing. Today, that changes." She paused, looking at the determined faces around her. "The Council thinks they know humanity. They think they understand what we're capable of. They believe we're just primitive beings who got lucky with a few technological advances. They're about to learn how wrong they are." Emily pressed another button, initiating the global launch sequence they had practiced countless times. In hidden silos, underground hangars, and underwater bases around the world, humanity's real fleet was powering up. "Our ancestors survived ice ages with nothing but fur and fire," she continued. "They crossed oceans in wooden boats. They looked at the sky and dreamed of flying, then built machines to make those dreams real. We went from our first powered flight to landing on the moon in just 66 years. We are humanity. We don't give up. We don't surrender. And we're about to show the galaxy what we can really do." Alarms began blaring throughout the facility. On the monitors, hundreds of secret hangar doors were opening worldwide. The new Earth fleet, built in secret over the past 3 months, was ready for launch. All units, "Commence Operation Rising Phoenix," Emily commanded. "Show these aliens why you should never corner a species that turned itself from cave-dwelling primates into space explorers in less than 10,000 years." The revolution was about to begin, and the Galactic Council had no idea what was coming. Commander Michael Torres watched his radar screen carefully as his fleet of 30 ships drifted closer to the Council's main shipyard near Alpha Centauri. From the outside, the human vessels looked like chunks of space rock and debris. It was amazing what you could do with some clever engineering and stolen alien technology. All ships maintain radio silence, he whispered into his comm unit. Let their own arrogance blind them. The alien shipyard was massive, a sprawling complex of docks, construction bays, and defense platforms. The Council's most advanced warships were built here. They had never bothered to seriously defend it because no primitive species had ever reached this far into space. That was about to change. Distance to target. Michael asked his tactical officer, John Miller. 500,000 kilometers in closing, John replied quietly, as if the aliens might hear them through space. Their patrol ships are still following their usual routes. They haven't spotted us. Michael smiled grimly. The Council's military had become lazy and overconfident after thousands of years without real opposition. They relied too much on their advanced sensors, never expecting that humans would figure out how to fool them. Remember, Michael sent to all ships, we're not here for a fair fight. We're here to hit them hard and fast, just like the old pirates used to do. His fleet wasn't made up of traditional warships. They were using modified mining vessels, retrofitted with weapons and shields reversed engineered from alien technology. The ship's hulls were still covered in drilling equipment that could tear through a space station just as easily as an asteroid. 300,000 kilometers, John reported. We're entering their outer sensor range. Michael took a deep breath. Activate the gravity shields. The new technology they developed would bend the gravity waves the aliens used for detection around their ships. As far as the Council's sensors were concerned, they were still just random space debris. 100,000 kilometers. The tension on the bridge was thick enough to cut with a knife. They were about to make history. The first human attack on an alien installation. 50,000 kilometers. We're in weapons range. Michael pressed a button on his command chair. All ships, execute attack pattern Thunderstrike. Suddenly, the space debris came to life. The human ships dropped their camouflage and accelerated toward the shipyard at full speed. Before the aliens could react, the first wave of gravity pulse weapons hit their outer defenses. The effect was devastating. The aliens' own artificial gravity systems turned against them, tearing their defense platforms apart from the inside. Alarms began blaring across the entire complex as the Council forces scrambled to respond. Second wave, target their communication arrays, Michael ordered. Third wave, take out their emergency jump drives. Don't let any ships escape to warn the others. The mining lasers, originally designed to cut through asteroids, sliced through the alien ships' hulls like they were made of paper. Drilling equipment ripped into the station's outer walls, while repurposed mining charges detonated against their power cores. Commander, John shouted excitedly. They're trying to power up their main weapons, but they can't get a target lock. Our gravity distortion fields are working perfectly. The Council's mighty shipyard, pride of their fleet, was being taken apart by what they had dismissed as primitive mining tools. Their advanced warships, caught unprepared in their docks, were being destroyed before they could even power up their weapons. Launch the message drone, Michael commanded. This was the most important part of the mission. A small probe shot out from his flagship, broadcasting on all frequencies in perfect Council standard language. Greetings from humanity. Consider this a receipt for your preventive strike against Earth. We're just getting started. Within 20 minutes, it was over. The shipyard was in ruins, 15 of their most advanced dreadnoughts were destroyed, and humanity had announced its presence to the galaxy in a way the Council would never forget. Set course for home, Michael ordered, watching the destruction through his view screen. "And send word to Earth. Operation Payback is a complete success." The humans had just proved they weren't helpless primitives. They were warriors who had learned to turn their enemy's strength against them. And this was only the beginning. The Great Hall of the Galactic Council was in complete disorder. Representatives from 100 alien species shouted and argued as news of the destroyed shipyard spread across the chamber's massive display screens. In the center of this chaos stood Thomas Anderson, Earth's first ambassador to the Council, wearing a simple black suit and a slight smile. "This is impossible," shouted the High Speaker, a tall alien with crystalline features. "No primitive species has ever survived the selection process, let alone managed to strike back." Thomas stepped forward, his footsteps echoing in the sudden silence. "Perhaps you should have done your research better. Humans don't respond well to being attacked. We tend to strike back harder." The council members watched him with a mixture of fear and curiosity. Some of them had voted against the attack on Earth, arguing that any species that advanced so quickly deserved careful study, not destruction. "You used mining ships," said another council member, her feathered crest rising in agitation. "You turned simple industrial equipment into weapons of war. This is unprecedented." Thomas nodded. "On Earth, we have a saying, necessity is the mother of invention. When you attacked us, you forced us to get creative. Did you really think we wouldn't find a way to fight back?" A smaller alien, representing one of the younger council races, raised a hand. "But how did you even reach Alpha Centauri? Your ships were destroyed in the initial attack." "Were they?" Thomas asked, raising an eyebrow. "Or did you just destroy what we wanted you to see? You were so certain of your superiority that you never bothered to look deeper. You never found our underground bases, our hidden factories, or the alien technology we'd been studying for decades." The chamber erupted in shocked whispers. The High Speaker slammed his crystalline hand on the podium. "What do you want, human? Why have you come here?" Thomas pulled out a small data device and placed it on the central platform. A hologram appeared, showing a list of terms. "I'm not here to surrender. I'm here to offer you a choice. These are our conditions for peace." "You dare to dictate terms to the Council?" the High Speaker roared. "Yes," Thomas replied calmly. "Because right now, 12 more human fleets are positioned near your major shipyards and military installations. They're all carrying the same weapons that just destroyed your most advanced facility. You have 1 hour to accept our terms, or we start dismantling your empire piece by piece." The younger council races began whispering among themselves. One of them, a reptilian being, spoke up. "We have reviewed the footage from Alpha Centauri. The humans didn't kill any civilian personnel. They even helped evacuate the station before destroying it. Perhaps we should listen to their terms." Thomas smiled. This was going exactly as planned. Earth's intelligence had identified several council races that were tired of the old guard's iron-fisted rule. "The terms are simple," he explained. "First, you acknowledge Earth's independence and our right to defend ourselves. Second, you end the practice of selection process attacks on developing worlds. Third, you agree to face trial for crimes against sentient species. And if we refuse," the High Speaker demanded. Thomas shrugged. "Then we'll free every species you've oppressed, one shipyard at a time. We've already received requests for protection from 15 of your subject races. Turns out we're not the only ones who don't appreciate being bullied." The chamber descended into chaos again, but Thomas could see the shift in the room. The younger races were already moving to support Earth's position. The old guard was losing control. 1 hour, Thomas reminded them, turning to leave. "Oh, and one more thing. The next time you decide to test an aggressive species, remember this: humans don't just fight back. We fight back smarter." As he walked out of the chamber, Thomas could hear the council breaking into factions. Earth's Retaliation hadn't just destroyed a shipyard. It had shattered the council's image of invincibility. Change was coming to the galaxy, whether the old guard liked it or not. Dr. Anna Wilson walked through the holographic display room of Earth's new embassy on Mars, surrounded by representatives from 20 different alien species. The walls showed evidence of the Council's crimes. Thousands of worlds attacked, countless civilizations destroyed, all in the name of galactic stability. As you can see, she explained to her alien audience, the Council's selection process wasn't random. They specifically targeted species that showed rapid technological growth or unusual adaptability. A blue-skinned alien raised his hand. Like the Atrians, we always wondered why they disappeared 5 centuries ago. Anna nodded, bringing up new images. The Atrians developed faster than light travel in just 300 years. The Council labeled them as dangerously innovative and wiped them out. The room filled with angry murmurs. Most of these species had believed the Council's lies about protecting the galaxy. Now they were learning the truth. But you humans, a tall, insect-like being clicked its mandibles. You survived. How? Anna smiled. Because we're paranoid. We spent centuries preparing for alien contact. When we found that crashed ship, we didn't just study its technology. We built defenses in secret. The Council thought they were monitoring everything we did, but humans are very good at hiding things. She brought up a new display showing Earth's underground cities and hidden bases. We took every science fiction story, every alien invasion movie, every wild theory, and asked ourselves, what if this is possible? Then we prepared for it. The aliens watched in amazement as she showed them humanity's preparations. Lunar bases hidden on the dark side of the moon. Asteroid bases disguised as mining operations. A network of underground facilities that the Council's sensors couldn't detect. Your species is fascinating, said another alien, this one looking like a tall, graceful tree. You prepared for war while hoping for peace. You built weapons while dreaming of friendship among the stars. You are contradictions. That's humanity for you, Anna replied. We hope for the best but prepare for the worst. And when the worst happened, we were ready. A new alarm sounded, and one of Anna's assistants rushed into the room. Doctor, we just decoded more Council records. You need to see this immediately. The new data appeared on the screens. Anna's eyes widened as she read. This changes everything. The records showed the Council's true purpose. They hadn't just been eliminating potential rivals. They had been harvesting technology from each civilization they destroyed. Every selection process had been carefully planned to test new innovations before wiping out their creators. They're not protectors, Anna announced, her voice hard. They're pirates. They've been stealing innovations from younger races for thousands of years, building their power by destroying anyone who might challenge them. The alien representatives began talking all at once. Many of them had lost allies and trading partners to the Council's selection process. Now they knew why. Earth stands ready to protect any species that wants to break away from Council control, Anna declared. We've already begun sharing our defensive technology with our new allies. The Council can't threaten us if we stand together. One by one, the aliens stepped forward to pledge their support. Species that had once feared or distrusted each other now found common cause against the Council's tyranny. The Council thought attacking Earth would eliminate a potential threat, Anna said, watching the new alliances form. Instead, they created exactly what they feared most, a united coalition of species ready to fight back. She brought up one final display, showing the locations of all known Council military bases. They spent thousands of years keeping species divided and afraid. But humans, we're really good at bringing people together, especially when there's a common enemy. As the alien representatives left to inform their governments, Anna looked at the galaxy map with satisfaction. The Council's attack on Earth hadn't just failed to destroy humanity. It had sparked a revolution that would reshape the galaxy forever. Humanity's retaliation was about to become the Galactic uprising. Captain Robert Martinez crouched behind a fallen pillar in the Council's main military base on Europa, one of Jupiter's moons. His squad of 20 human soldiers waited silently as alien troops searched for them. The difference in gravity should have made fighting difficult, but for humans, it was an advantage. "They're coming from the left corridor," whispered Lisa, his team's scout. 15 council troops, heavy armor. "They're moving slow, still not used to the low gravity." Robert smiled beneath his helmet. The aliens had always seen Earth's high gravity as a weakness, believing it would limit human development. They never understood that it had made humans stronger. "Remember," he sent through the squad's comm system, "we trained for this. Use their gravity settings against them." The Council had set artificial gravity throughout their base to match their homeworld, about half of Earth's gravity. They thought this would disadvantage human attackers. Instead, it made Robert's soldiers twice as strong, twice as fast. 3, 2, 1. Now. The human squad burst from cover, moving with practiced ease in the lower gravity. While the alien troops struggled to adjust their aim, Robert's soldiers bounced off walls and ceilings, using their enhanced strength and agility to strike from impossible angles. "This is why we win," Robert thought as he watched his team execute their attack perfectly. "We adapt." The alien soldiers fired their energy weapons, but the humans were already gone, jumping 15 feet into the air with ease, rolling behind new cover, moving like acrobats in the reduced gravity. Their modified combat suits, based on stolen Council technology, but improved by human engineers, deflected the energy blasts. "Team 2, breach the command center," Robert ordered. "Team 3, secure their communications hub. Remember, no killing unless absolutely necessary. We're here to capture, not destroy." That was another thing that confused the Council forces. They expected humans to be brutal, violent, and vengeful. Instead, human soldiers fought with precision and restraint, taking prisoners whenever possible. Lisa's voice came over the comm. "Captain, you need to see this. We found their research lab." Robert moved quickly through the captured corridors, noting how his soldiers had disabled the alien defenses without causing unnecessary damage. In the research lab, he found something remarkable. "They were studying us," Lisa explained, showing him the alien data screens. They couldn't understand why humans were so different from other species they'd encountered. The screens showed detailed analysis of human biology, psychology, and history. The Council scientists had been baffled by humanity's rapid adaptation to space warfare. "Look at this," she pointed to one report. "They say humans are the only known species to evolve on a death world, a planet with such harsh conditions that it forced rapid evolution." Robert read through the data. Earth's gravity, weather patterns, predators, and diseases had created perfect conditions for producing a highly adaptable species. While other races evolved in relatively stable environments, humans had faced constant challenges that forced them to adapt or die. "That's not all," Lisa continued. "They studied our history. Most species took thousands of years to advance from one technology level to the next. Humans did it in centuries, sometimes decades. We went from horse-drawn carriages to space stations in just over 100 years. Send all this to command," Robert ordered. "They'll want to know why the Council was so afraid of us." A new alarm sounded. "Captain, Council reinforcements incoming. 3 heavy transport ships." Robert checked his tactical display. His squad had already secured their objectives. The base's defenses were under human control. Everything was going according to plan. "Let them come," he said calmly. "They still haven't learned. Every time they throw a new challenge at us, we adapt and get stronger. That's what humans do." As his soldiers prepared for the next wave, Robert thought about how far humanity had come. From a primitive species on a harsh world to a force that made the mighty Galactic Council tremble. They had tried to destroy humanity. Instead, they had only proved why humans were the most dangerous species in the galaxy, not because they were violent, but because they never stopped adapting, never stopped improving, and never, ever gave up. Admiral James Weber stood in the same spot on Luna Base, one where he had watched the Council's first attack 6 months ago. But this time, he wasn't watching destruction. He was watching hope. Below him, Earth shone like a jewel in space, already recovering from the Council's bombardment. Ships from 30 different alien species filled the orbit around Earth, not as invaders, but as allies and traders. The galaxy had changed forever, and humanity had led the way. "The last Council stronghold surrendered this morning," reported Mary, now promoted to commander. "Their leaders are being transported to the neutral station for trial." James nodded, remembering how it all began. "Did you ever think, when they first attacked us, that it would end like this? With Earth leading a galactic federation, with aliens shopping in our markets and studying at our universities?" Mary smiled. "Never. But then again, I never thought we'd had secret underground bases and reverse-engineered alien tech either." The main display lit up, showing the trial chamber on the neutral station. The Council's former leaders sat in a row, facing judges from 20 different species. Among them was Thomas Anderson, Earth's ambassador, reading the charges. "The evidence is clear." Thomas's voice echoed through the command center. "For over 10,000 years, the Council systematically destroyed developing civilizations, stole their technology, and maintained power through fear and violence." James watched as images of destroyed worlds filled the screens. Each one represented a civilization that had been deemed too dangerous to join galactic society. Each one had been a victim of the Council's fear and greed. "But today marks a new beginning," Thomas continued. "The Galactic Federation of Free Species is now a reality. No more selection processes, no more destruction of developing worlds. Every species will have the right to develop at their own pace, with guidance and protection if they want it." In the 6 months since Earth's retaliation began, everything had changed. The Council's iron grip on the galaxy had been broken. Former enemy species were now working together, sharing technology and resources. Earth had shown them a better way. "Admiral," Mary called out, "the first group of alien students has arrived at the Luna Academy." James turned to the other view screen, watching as young beings from across the galaxy entered Earth's new space academy. Some floated, some crawled, some walked on many legs, but all of them were here to learn. "What are they teaching first?" he asked. "Human history," Mary replied with a grin. "Specifically, how a species from a high-gravity death world went from stone tools to starships in less than 10,000 years. The other races are fascinated by our development." James understood why. Humanity's rapid rise had terrified the Council, but it inspired other species. Humans had proven that determination and adaptability were more important than any technological advantage. The display changed again, showing construction projects across the solar system. Alien architecture blended with human designs as joint colonies took shape on Mars, Europa, and Titan. Trade routes stretched between stars, patrolled by mixed crews of humans and aliens. The Council thought they were defending galactic peace, James mused, but they were really just holding everyone back. "Look at what we've accomplished in just 6 months of working together." A small alien child wandered into view on one of the screens, pointing excitedly at Earth. Her teacher, a tall being of pure energy, was explaining how humans had turned their supposed weaknesses into strengths. "That's the real victory," James said softly. "Not defeating the Council, but showing the galaxy a better way. We didn't just fight back, we changed everything." As he watched the sun rise over Earth, James thought about how far they had come. The Council's attack had been meant to destroy humanity. Instead, it had forced the galaxy to evolve, to grow, to become something better. Humanity had done what it did best, faced a challenge, adapted, and emerged stronger. And now, the stars themselves were the limit of what they could achieve together. The story of Earth's retaliation would be told for generations across the galaxy, not as a tale of revenge, but as the moment when the universe learned that the most powerful force wasn't superior technology or military might. It was hope.